Baba says that now we have Alokik intellects. Now, what is the function of the intellect? The intellect is the one who sees and the one who creates an experience. And depending on the quality of the intellect, our vision of whatever we see and our experience of whatever is in front of me is created. And Baba says that Baba is called the Buddhivano ki Buddhi, the bestower of intellect. And Baba gives us the capacity to have a broad and unlimited and alokik intellect, where we can see through the intellect whatever the eyes can't see, and we can dwell in the experience of those wonderful aspects of this universe which we cannot experience with a Alokik intellect. So when we use the Alokik intellect that Baba gives us, then you can focus the intellect on that which the two eyes can't see, and then you can see it through the intellect and experience that which is, that wonderful aspect of it which is contained in that thing. So Baba gives us the intellect through which we can see ourselves, the soul. And you see, Baba says the soul is Sat Chit Anand Swarup. I am Sat, I am the truth, I am Chaitanya, I am the living being, and I am Anand Swarup, I am the embodiment of bliss. Now you see, when you dwell on this knowledge long enough and it sits in your intellect, then you can experience the power of being who you are. And you see, Baba gives us this gift of the Alokik intellect, but the more you use it. How do you use the Alokik intellect? By making the intellect turn towards that which Baba enables you to see and experience. And when you focus on those aspects very often, then you start experiencing it like any other reality that you do. And Baba says that I am the truth. And what does the word truth mean? Truth means eternal. So I am a soul and I am eternal. And then I am the living being. Do you ever think about this aspect that all around you, whatever the eyes see is non-living? It doesn't have a life force. And a life force is creative energy. You are the only creative energy. Even the air that you breathe, what vibration it contains, or the food that you eat, the vibration that it contains, the atmosphere that you live in, the five elements of nature, they are not a life force. They cannot create their own vibration. But you are the life force and you create your vibration. And you can change the vibration of everything around you. And you see, just like Baba is Chaitanya, so with the power of, this creative force of thought, virtues, thought is a very creative force, virtues is a creative force. Does the table and furniture and plants and water around you can create thoughts? Or can they, can it create, can it be virtuous? Can it give you love and peace and happiness? Can it give you power? No. It doesn't have the creative force. But just like Baba is the supreme living being, and through his words, through his vibrations, he has the capacity to change the whole world. Because what is the world? When the world is vibrating in impurity, it is Kali Yuga. And the world is vibrating in purity, it is Satyug. When the world is vibrating with truth, it is Satyug. When it is in falsehood, it is Kali Yuga. So Baba is the life force and I am also a living being. I am not some machine which somebody has to turn on and turn off. But human beings have also started behaving like machines. Machines are controlled by others. We are not controlled by atmosphere or behaviors or circumstances. I am a life force. I can choose what thought to create, what behavior to create, what vibration to create, what words to create. And when I do that, I can change everything around me. So Baba says that you are a living being. Don't forget that. And if you think about it, you use this Alokik intellect to turn inwards and see who you are. Then you unleash the power of what it is, what it means to be you, the soul. And then Baba says, you are an embodiment of bliss. And you see, bliss is a very beautiful virtue. Bliss has no opposite. When you say happiness, there is an opposite. When you say peace, there is an opposite. When you say love, there is an opposite. But bliss has no opposite. And the soul is an embodiment of bliss, Anand Swarup. And if you just hold this in your intellect and feel who you are, because you see, we don't perceive what is, we perceive what we hold in our intellect. So when you have this Alokik intellect and you see who you are through that glass of the intellect, through that Alokik chashma or Alokik glasses that Baba has given you, then you see who you truly are. And we are living in a world of illusion, of Maya, where we have started believing that I am who I am actually not. Yes, I'm limited and I have limited capacities and I have this limitation, that limitation. But it's not like that. And Baba says, just dwell on this aspect that I'm Sat Chit Anand Swarup. And then Baba says, what is your religion? Your religion is peace. Religion is called dharma in Hindi. And dharma means dharana, the essence that you hold within. And Baba says, you are like this vessel containing peace. So that's your religion, that's what you hold within. And just take your intellect and feel who you are. And Baba has given us a lot of knowledge about many aspects of the soul, but this is what Baba says today. And then Baba today says that I give you the Alokik intellect to know who I am. And you see, we have a lot of ideas about who God is. And those ideas, they don't allow us to experience how sweet Baba is. They don't allow us to be attracted to Baba. Because you see, over 2500 years, so many concepts of God have evolved. And then people have fought over it, and God has become very defamed. And then Baba says, I give you the intellect to see me as I am. And Baba says, my praise is the highest. I am the remover of sorrow and bestower of happiness. I am the ocean of knowledge. And Baba says that you see me as I am when I give you this knowledge of who I am. And today Baba gives an example that when there are small children, a very small child, then that child is, that child is almost like karmatit. That child has no knowledge of neutral action, sinful action, pure action. And that child is almost like living in innocence. And that child has no defects because the defects have not emerged. The soul has sanskars of defects, but it needs a body, big enough to express those defects. So when it's a small child, that child is almost like a Mahatma, great soul. And Baba says everybody is attracted towards that child. And how do you feel when you are in front of a child? How do you feel in the presence of a child? So if you ask me, you feel as you are. If, although the child is pure, but there are people today who molest children also. And they get sinful thoughts while seeing the child. And you hear in the newspapers that I heard this news some years back, and it's happening very rampantly these days, that 6-month child was molested. And then, it makes us think that the child is so pure, and how could anybody have the thought of molesting such a small child? And how could that person not be, attracted by the purity of the child? But the thing is, if you're very body conscious, then the body consciousness that's within, it attracts the sanskars of lust, anger, ego, attachment, and then you do that heinous act to the child also. And Baba says that, but nevertheless, nobody can deny the fact that the child is pure. But you see that even to experience and feel the purity of the child, you need to be soul conscious. And I remember there was this one Mata, and she told me that my child is 3 years of age, and when I get angry, I beat that child. And then later I realize, how can I beat such a small child? And then when I come to my senses, I feel very guilty and very sorry. So you see how body consciousness becomes a very big, a very big wall which doesn't allow you to feel the purity, the innocence of the child. And then you perform these acts of violence and anger and everything because you can't feel it. So Baba says that just like the child is pure, I am the ocean of purity. And one thing is, you have to clean yourself from the ideas that you have about me and know me as I am. And you see, in bhakti, we have been trained to think that God is, God punishes, and but God never punishes. Does Baba ever punish us? No. Baba says, whatever punishment you get, that's because of the karmic law, that whatever you sow, you will reap. But I never punish you, and I always bless you and love you and give you the strength and courage to move forward, even when you are suffering, because of some past karma. So Baba says, just know that I am this sparkle of light, and I am the ocean of love and peace and purity, and I am practically someone who comes and gives you all the knowledge that I have. And just think about this act of Baba coming and giving us the knowledge. And has anybody, even the Alokik parents, have they taken out time to talk to you every day, 1 hour a day? Nobody in the world does that. But Baba comes and, talks to us, gives us love and guidance and directions and understanding and cautions and everything every day. And have you seen anybody who just gives you whatever they have despite you responding or not responding? But Baba gives us everything anyway. And Baba says, just think about who I am. And it requires some juggling of the intellect. It requires some contemplation to really appreciate who Baba is. And you see, if you don't think about it, you don't. And I remember, there was this one person, he said that I hated my wife and I never understood how she contributes to my life. But when she was gone, I felt that she was contributing immensely. And you see, it's this sanskar of, I. We don't see anybody these days. We don't appreciate what anybody is doing for us. And Baba says, just take out time and think about who I am. And just think about, you see, Baba leaves his world of purity and comes and lives in an impure body, impure world for me, just to give me the sustenance that I need. And when you think about who Baba is and what Baba does for me, then you have this love for Baba. But you have to use your intellect to think about it. And then you see, Baba is slowly removing me from all the bondages which are making me experience sorrow and giving me the experience of happiness, which is my natural state, by removing me of body consciousness every day. And just think about how Baba is the remover of sorrow and bestower of happiness. We didn't even understand that happiness and sorrow are not about what you have and what you do. It's about, what you hold in your intellect. But Baba makes us realize all of that. And Baba says, I am the one who does that for you. I am the ocean of knowledge. And you must think about me to feel that love for me. And love is an aspect of gratitude and recognition. When you recognize, what role somebody is playing in your life and you have gratitude in your heart, then you love that one. So Baba says, just when you understand who I am, the more you know who I am, the more you will love me. And you see, when you think about Baba, that love in your heart emerges. And Baba says that when that love in your heart emerges, then you become part of the rosary. Now you see, there is a rosary of 808 and 16,108. In India there is a temple where they make a big mala, a big rosary of 108, beads. And they turn that around every day in the temple. And then you see people who are doing this mala of 108 or 8. And then there is the mala of 9 beads, where one is Shiv Baba and the other 8 are souls in Sangam Yoga. And Baba says, the more love you have for me, the more you will become that bead in the rosary. And Baba says, 16,108 children is the number of the prince and princesses from Satyug to Treta end. And if you want to be one of them, then you have to have love in your heart for me. And the more you recognize me, the more love there will be in your heart for me. But you see, Baba says there are many children who have no love for Baba. And why no love for Baba? Body consciousness. Just like you see, you cannot feel the innocence of a child when you're body conscious. Similarly, you cannot see Baba. You cannot think about Baba. You cannot feel Baba if you're very busy with, this body conscious thought and acts of the body all the day. If the body and bodily world is clouding your intellect all day, then can you think about Baba and appreciate his role in your life and feel that gratitude and that love for Baba? You cannot, because the mind and intellect have to be free to feel the love that Baba is giving us. And when we are body conscious, our mind and intellect is busy in wasteful thinking. And when it is so busy in wasteful thinking, you cannot feel what Baba is making us feel. And Baba says, then you don't have love for Baba. And then Baba says, I give you the Alokik intellect to understand the soul world, Satyug, and this time of Sangam Yuga. And Baba gives us a very beautiful point of knowledge. Baba says, in the soul world, we live with Baba, but we don't meet Baba. Because meeting can happen when you are awake and aware. Yes, can you meet somebody while you're sleeping? Yes, you're sleeping, you are sleeping, deep sleep you have, and then somebody comes and meets you and goes. Do you know you met them? No, there's no meeting when you're in deep sleep. And in the soul world, we are in deep sleep. The soul is, in its inert state, where the mind and intellect is not functioning. So in that state, you live with Baba, but you don't meet Baba. And the only time in the whole cycle, the only time ever you meet Baba is now. And you see, do you think about it that this is the only time to meet Baba? And just think about somebody who is very high and mighty, and they have given you an appointment for 5 minutes. Then do you care about anybody or anything in those 5 minutes? You just care about meeting that one. And you see, this is the only time in my whole journey when I can meet Baba, I can spend time with Baba. And what I get from Baba is a separate thing. But, when you have yoga with Baba, the sins burn and this and that, that's a different thing. But just think about, this is the only time when you meet Baba. And when you think about that, then you don't want to think about anyone or anything in this Sangam Yuga. You just want to experience this sweet meeting with Baba. And Baba says that when you hold these things in your intellect, when it sits in your intellect, then you value this Sangam Yuga as the time of meeting Baba. Not having yoga with Baba, or not burning sins, or not creating good karma, but just meeting Baba. And I remember, I was once listening to an experience by a Dadi, and she was sharing that we were not concerned about Purusharth in the initial days. We were just overjoyed with this thought that we are living our life with Baba. And that thought kept us, in zeal, in spirit, in happiness. And it was just this, this life with Baba. It was not about, and when you have this, thought that this is a wonderful life with Baba, then whatever you do with Baba becomes Purusharth, isn't it? What will you do with Baba? Watch TV. You will, whatever you do with Baba, it is Purusharth, it is spiritual effort. So Baba says, this is the only time you meet Baba. Just hold this into your intellect. And then Baba gives us the intellect to see that this is that same Gita episode. And you look around, Baba says, this is that same God who comes in a chariot. And you see, in the Gita they show that God takes a chariot which doesn't belong to him. He takes a chariot which belongs to Arjuna. And what is a chariot? A chariot is a body. And what are the 5 horses? They are the 5 sense organs. So Baba says, you see, I am the God who has come on the chariot, and I am speaking the Gita to you. And look all around, it is the same war. And do you ever think that it is so interesting that they say that the Gita was spoken by God in the middle of a war? Can you know, is it possible that it's it's the war that is depicted? It is not that war, it is the war, the Karam Kshetra, Kurukshetra is Karam Kshetra, the field of action. And on this field of action, there is a war going on. And right from the time you get up, you are at war. And in this war, in the middle of this war, Baba is speaking the Gita to us. And it is the same Kauravas, who know God, but they don't recognize God. You see, the Kauravas were also related to Sri Krishna, they show in the Gita. But they did not recognize him as God. But Arjuna and the Pandavas, they recognized him as God. So Baba says, in the world, everybody knows, these BKs are talking about God and God has come and this and that, but they don't recognize God. And even the government, it was a Kaurav government. So the government also knows today that the BKs say God has come, but they don't recognize God. And you are the Pandavas who recognize God and have love for Baba in your heart. And Baba says, then there are Yadavs also. Yadavs who are creating the weapons for their own destruction. And during the Mahabharata, they show there were 3 armies. The Yadavs who were creating, things that would destroy their own clan. And Baba says there are people who are creating these ammunitions which will destroy the whole human race. And then there are Kauravas who are even part of the government, and they know that they are speaking about God, but they don't recognize Baba. And then there is Pandavas, we children, who recognize Baba and follow his directions. Excuse me. So Baba says, just use your Alokik intellect and feel the time that you're in. Feel Baba and feel who you are as a soul. Okay? Om Shanti.